I would be sharing my screen. Okay. So I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yes,
Yeah, we
we
can
can.
see it.
So basically, we are going to be talking about opportunities in UI UX design. Before we get into it, I would like us to explain what UI UX design is and how to go about it. So for UI, it is basically user interface design. In user interface design, it's more of the look and the layout of the design. So it's basically exactly what you see when you look at a design or when you look at a website. The first thing you see, the way everything is arranged, the colors, just the first thing and the first impression you have of a design is what we call the user interface. And then for the user experience, it is the overall feel. It is the emotion you feel whilst you use the product, because as you would always say, products have emotions and users also have emotions. So every product is made to bring out a certain kind of emotion in you. So it is now left to the designer or the whole team to whether they are communicating these emotions well, or whether what you feel is exactly what they want you to feel. So basically, that's what user experience is. It is taking into consideration the user needs, the information needed for the product, and the business goal. So the overall feel and the overall look is what we call UI UX design. Now going ahead to compare UX and UI. So for user experience, as I already said, we actually talk about exactly how the user feels. So is this product valuable? Is it accessible? Is it desirable by the users? Do they really want this product? Is it credible? Is it convenient? Is it satisfiable? And is it useful? So every product needs to solve a problem, and every product is created to actually solve a problem. So whilst we are creating this product, we need to know whether this product is actually going to be functional to solve this problem we have in mind. So that is what user experience actually stands for. And for the UI, like I said, it is how it looks. So color combination, like what are the colors we are using? What is the content of this? If it's a website, so what is the content of this website? How does this button go? These forms, is it easy for me to fill it? Like, can I find everything I need? And is it really impressive? Like when I look at it, am I like, what kind of thing does it communicate to me when I look at it? So the topography, the layout, the images, everything about the first look that you see in a product is what UI is about. So why is UI UX important? Why is this design important? So every product that we design, like I said, it should be functional. So now UI UX is very important because from the design phase, even from the thinking phase, we are able to map out what the user needs and what is the problem we are trying to solve. So it is important because it will help us to satisfy our users, it will help us increase engagement, and it will also help our business to thrive. So in as much as we are trying to solve problems for users, we are also trying to have a good business. We are trying to make money as well. So we want to solve all these problems and we want to do it well. Okay, so we can now go ahead to statistics on the impact of good UI UX design. So this data is from TopTal. So we are going to be considering how good UI UX design is going to help our business, whether in a good way or in a bad way. So they notice that 88% of online consumers are likely to return to the site after are unlikely to return to the site after a bad experience. So which means that if 88% does not come back, we are left with just 12%, and those 12% might not even be buying what we are selling on the website, which means that for a bad UX design, customers are not going to patronize us. So 90% of users reported that they stopped using an app due to poor performance. That is a whole 90% due to poor performance. So all this data is for us to understand the importance of a good UX in our product. It is like the first thing that we sell to people. So we need to make sure that it actually communicates exactly what we want it to communicate to the users. Then it says slow loading website costs retailers more than $2 billion in lost sales each year. And mobile users are 5 times more likely to abandon a task if the site isn't optimized for mobile. So right now, almost every product that has a website definitely is mobile responsive, but it wasn't like that before. Before, people had website, just mobile apps. Some of the websites you can't really load it on mobile because they were not responsive enough. So right now, for the new trend, it's not so new, but it's literally a new trend, creating mobile views for designs. So when there is mobile view, because almost everybody has like a phone on them, and that is more number of people that have laptops on them. So basically, mobile users are 5 times more likely to abandon a task if the site isn't optimized for mobile. So we have people who have a negative brand experience on mobile are 62% less likely to purchase from the brand in the future. So all this um, data is to tell us the importance of doing a good UX and doing it well, and exactly what UI UX design does for our brands. So I think these are the final ones. It says judgments on credibility are 75% based on websites' overall aesthetics. So this is 75% of people look forward to the user interface, not even the user experience for now. The first thing that they judge is the user interface before they are able to explore whether the experience is good for them or not. And then 83% of people say a seamless experience across all devices is very important. This is still mobile responsiveness. We want we want the website to be able to load on every platform or on every device you are holding. So I think I've gone a little bit far. I don't know if everybody's paying attention, so you can just like raise your hand or do something. Let me be sure I'm communicating.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm sure the others are.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I think I have a last one. It says 46% of people say they would not purchase from a brand again if they had an interactive mobile experience. So, like I said before, everything is centered on having a good experience, having a good interface. With that, you are able to drive customers and you are able to get people to make purchases and actually reduce bounce rates on your sites. So, everything here is to show us how important a UI is and how important a UX is for every brand and every business. So I got this quote and it says good UX design is a powerful tool for attracting and retaining customers, increasing revenue, and building brand loyalty. Neglecting UX can have detrimental consequences for businesses in terms of customer retention and trust. So we cannot neglect UX. We don't, I don't think any business have that ability to neglect UX unless you do not want to make sales and unless you don't want people to visit your site at all. So nobody has that kind of plan to create a business and neglect the experience that customers are supposed to have whilst exploring their products. So a good UX is actually a very powerful tool for any business to thrive. So for design processes, so these design processes actually have like I think there are a lot of ways that people put it, but at the end of the day, it still goes around this circle. And it's basically the same thing that they're talking about. So for a design process, you need to be first thing you need to do is to empathize. Empathize is the use of US research to understand user pinpoint. So empathize is from the word empathy. It is you trying to understand the problem before you are before trying to or attempting to solve a problem. You need to actually understand it. You need to be able to put yourself in user shoes, try to understand exactly what this problem is, and then now you can go ahead to define it. Now you can identify what the product is and what the problem it solves. So after you have understood the problem, now you want to define the problem and be able to map out the solutions you think are possible, which brings us to the ideating phase. So for the ideating phase, you sketch out your ideas and turn them into wireframes. And then, so in that define is where you actually do your research and get all the data you need to be able to solve a problem before you put your ideas on paper and then try to sketch it and then prototype it and create like early versions and then you run test prototypes for your end users. So it goes like this, but it does not end on testing. So for design, design is a design process does not have an ending. It is like a loop. It goes round and round and round. So from the testing, you can see that there are certain problems you didn't solve or you didn't solve well. So you have to go back to empathizing again, or you have to go back to the defining process again, or you have to go back to the ideating process again. So it doesn't stop. It is like a cycle. You keep going until you are able to solve the problems that you plan to solve. And even when you've solved it, because there are definitely new trends and everything, so you keep coming back to it to fine tune it and make it better. That's what design processes is all about. So for current trends in design, we have AI power tools. Now there are AI platforms where you can actually get design processes from. You can ask questions. You can like be able to get solutions for certain things. So the current trend is there people are building AI power tools. I think ChatGPT is an example, and there are other ones that do other things basically. And then voice user interfaces. So we have all these products that can use your voice to be able to perform an action. A simple example is Siri, and I think Google has the OK Google, and then we have AR and VR. This was for building games, if you know virtual realities games and stuff like that. So that is the current trends where design is on now. And there are no code tools. So there are so many examples of no code tools that you can just design and develop at the same time. Um there is Webflow, there is what's it called? uh Bubble. There's like different ones that you could use. And then accessibility. Now we design for accessibility. Designing for accessibility means that you are going to make sure that when you design this product, a wide range of people can use it. What is wide range of people? So if you are designing, like, let's say a game platform for 5 to 10 year olds, you want to make sure that kids that have like eye problems or kids that have hearing issues are still able to use it. So you want to make it in a way that it serves purpose for everybody and it does not discriminate people. So in the phase we are in design, we are designing for accessibility for every people or every range of people that we design for to comfortably use it and not like struggle to use your product. So that's where we are at this point, which is the current trends in UX. So essential skills for design, we need to possess certain skills to be able to come up with designs that are actually functional and useful. Um, I think my first one should actually be empathy because you need to want to understand the problem to the basic level so that you are able to come up with something. So from the empathy, we can go ahead with having skills on user research, on usability testing, on virtual communication, interaction design, wireframing and prototyping. and on knowledge on design tools. So there are a wide range of design tools. There is Sketch, there is Adobe XD, there is Figma, there is like a lot of them, but the most popular one is Figma, which it's okay. So you can just know Figma, that's okay. You can decide to know a lot more. It makes it versatile. But yeah, you can just pick the skill you really want to know and master it and stay on it, which is fine. So these are the essential skills you need to have to be able to become a good designer. So so now we can talk about career path. There is a wide range of career path for UI UX designers. And there are so many places to specialize on if you want to be a specialist in certain aspect of design. So you can be a UI designer, which is a user interface designer. You can be a UX designer. You can be a UX researcher. You can be an interaction designer. So you basically design interactive components for the design. So there are other ones, but I just listed like creating interactive buttons, menus, forms. So you can check for other ones and see what you really, really want to specialize in. And then there is information architecture. So these people are basically responsible for organizing and structuring content and information within a product or a website to ensure it's easily navigable and accessible. So for information architecture in design is I would give you an example of, let's say if you look at Jumia, so Jumia has different menu bars. It has, let's say, for women, for men, for children, and then it has, let's say, dresses, caps, shoes. So for if you're trying to like make that in a way that it looks like you are trying to create information architecture, you are going to have to map all these menus to their sub menus so that anybody that wants to use the product is not confused. They can easily find exactly what they are looking for. So if you go to the male version, you can now put shoes, slippers, whatever that you want to list under it. Then under the shoes, you can decide to put flat shoes, covered shoes. So you are just trying to like make the menus in a way that it is very simple and people can actually navigate it without having to ask questions. So that's it. Prospect. So there is so much prospects for UI UX design. It is moving forward. The design of 2020 is literally different from the design of 2024. The design of 1990 is different from what we have today, which means that there are changes as everything is changing, designs are changing, even the users are also changing. So we keep moving according to trends. And then we are also looking at the future, what is possible and what can we do in the future and where are we heading to. So for the prospects, we have AI and machine learning integrations. We have enhanced personalizations. So people are able to use products according to um their preferred way. So it's basically products created for you or mapped out for your needs. And then people are able to have more experiences with AR and virtual reality. And then continued focus on accessibility. So educational pathways in UX. So for educational pathways, there are several ways to actually learn UX. We have degree programs if you want to. There are certification courses and boot camps. There are live courses. There is self-directed learning. You can teach yourself, and then you can go ahead to build a portfolio. From there, that is by doing different designs, getting tasks together and creating them and making a portfolio for yourself. And then you can do internships and have practical experiences. So these are pathways to UX design. It doesn't have to be um, everything. You can choose what works for you and steady and stay on it and go ahead to do what you want to do. So there are several options. I think Cretank has a courses that they do. There are other platforms you can also learn from. You can also teach yourself. There is YouTube. There is so many resources and so many materials to learn UX from. So yeah, yeah. So that's everything. So this is question and answers time. So if you have a question, just let me know so that I can answer.
Okay, thank you so much, Silva. So we'll be taking questions now. If there's anyone that has any question, please drop it in the chat box. So before while we're waiting for them, I want to ask a question. So like how long does it take to learn UI UX, and someone that has like basic skills in graphic design, do you think it's easy to just transit, what's the English, to just move into UI UX design freely, and what like the basic skills? I just want to know like how long.
Okay, so there is literally no timeline for learning design. It depends on how ready you are to learn design. People learn it in 3 months, people learn it in 6 months, just because that the skill is not a one-time acquisition, it is a learning process. You keep learning as you're growing. So you it depends on how ready you are to know the basics, and then go ahead and you can do internship to get more practical knowledge. But the more you design, the more you actually know things. So if you don't try, you would not be able to start. So I don't know. There's no exact time frame. It depends on how ready you are and how fast you are able to get to understanding it. And for if you have a graphic design skill, it is easy for you to join UI UX. Like I would say graphics design and UI UX is different, but then there is design there for both of them where that is what brings them into similarity. For UI UX design, you have to like think of so many things. You have to have a lot of research to be able to come up with your problem. I think that's where the difference actually comes in. But for the skill of designing, it is a little bit different too. Not a little bit, it's actually a lot different. But the fact that you know how to design coming into UI UX shouldn't be so difficult for you to get. Just that the rules are different. The application is different. For graphics, you can play with colors a lot, but for UI UX, you need to understand why you are playing with this color. So it's basically a lot of questions on why to do this. Does this solve a problem? Does this Is it functional? If I put this icon here, what does it do? Does it do anything at all, or is it just dormant? So for UI UX, you have to ask yourself a lot of questions and answer a lot of questions. So that's where the difference come. So there are similarities, there are differences, and of course you can easily transition.
Okay, yeah, you talked about functionality. So speaking of functionality, how do you balance like the aesthetics and the functionality in a design? Like what's your core focus? Do you focus on the functionality first, or how beautiful it's going to look?
Okay, so I focus on both. This is how it goes. If you look at the statistic I said, it said 90% of users would continue the site if the site looks good enough for them. So if you focus on functionality and leave aesthetics behind, you are losing 90% of users because they don't have the patience to wait for you to be able to now explore the page to find that is functional. I don't know if you get me. So you cannot throw one away and you cannot keep one. Also, when you have aesthetics and you don't have functionality, they will also get bored and leave it for you. So there's none to hold onto. You can't hold onto any of them. You can only strive to have a balance of both aesthetics and usability. So your product should look good and it should be functional too. Don't try to work for just one and leave the other behind because you'd be losing customer in that way. People don't have so much patience for they're not coming to they don't have all the time unless they are your family members that you have to explain to them that, oh, it is working, don't worry about their aesthetics. But these people, you don't really know them, so you want them to actually have the best experience ever. So you can't throw one away, and you have to focus on both of them and make sure that they work.
All right, thank you so much. So someone else dropped a question in the chat box. He said a person who is good in web design, can he also be good in UI UX design? because I find web design and UI UX similar.
So UI UX design, in UI UX design, you are going to design websites too. So maybe I'm not really getting the question. Do you mean web development or web design? Can you like explain a little bit more?
David, I don't know if you can explain more, if you can unmute or type. So she's asking, do you mean web development or web design? He said web design.
Okay, so like I said, for if you are designing, okay, UI is user interface, which could be a website too. So if you are a UI designer, you can design a website, of course. UX is experience, which is how it feels. So if you are good in web design, of course you are good in UI UX design, so long as your product is functional and it is useful for the user. So did I answer your question? Yes.
Okay, so David, I don't know if you're clear on that or you still want her to explain more. Is that clear? Okay, you understand. Okay. Any other question? Okay, so I actually have a friend. Yeah, so I want to ask. So as a beginner in the UI UX space, she's still a beginner. So how do you position yourself for internship opportunities, and what would you advise on building a portfolio as UI UX designer?
Okay, so as a newbie, it is important that you actually try projects by yourself. You can always go online. There are several platforms where you would see designs. There is awards, there is Behance, there is Dribble, there is a lot of them. So you can go ahead, look at products or designs there and try to replicate them if you want to make changes or try to build your own thing. So when you're able to do that, you can create a portfolio, like an online presence, and put all your designs together. Then at that point in time, you are actually ready for internship. So you can go ahead to start applying for internship or apply for volunteer roles. So sometimes, even if you're not able to get like paid internship, or some people are on the TL, they are designers, you can reach out to them and ask them that, oh, please, can I join you for your design project? Some of them have projects they're working on, just for you to be able to learn and add it to your experiences. So these are like the ways to put yourself out there. And also designing and posting online. It is very important for a new designer because you want to post out there, and sometimes people give you good feedbacks that you have to work on to increase your um design, and also you are visible to the public. So in all of these things, you don't have to go one way. You can always reach out to people that you want to collaborate with them, or you can collaborate with a fellow newbie and you guys to design a full project and write a case study on it and post it on your portfolios. Or you can apply to companies and tell them that you are a designer, you want to do internship with them. So basically, reach out to people, make sure you are online, post your work, tell people that they can drop comments or anything they feel like you can do better. Try to get a mentor. It's not compulsory you get a mentor, because I notice people get to the point that they say they are not seeing mentors and they give up. So it's not necessary you get a mentor, because actually people are busy and everybody wants to get something back. So you asking someone to mentor you, the person knows that you are not going to pay. So why not put yourself in this position and say, can I help you work on your project? So that because the person already has more experience, as you work with them, you will learn more and then you'll be able to get into the market as a designer. So that's basically how it works.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. So another question is here. As a UI UX designer, how do you manage client expectation when creating a design, especially in creating a good user experience for the users?
Oh, okay. So as a designer, we need to know that as much as customer is our focus, the business goal is also our focus. So when a client reaches out to you and asks you to design this project, you want to make sure that you actually understand what the person wants, because the client knows exactly what he wants to what he wants you to design. Even if it's not exactly, they have a better understanding of what they want than you do because you are just getting into the project. So you want to make sure that you actually understand the client very well. That's you understand the client's expectation, then you can use it to do your research and still come back together. So just work hand in hand with the client. If you are supposed to make research before designing, make sure that you carry the client along so that certain decisions that might change as you go ahead, you would communicate it very well. So when you're able to pass through the communication phase very well, and you would not have problem with the client's expectation because you communicated well and you've done your research well. Of course, you are going to have a good design because you've done the right things. So at the end of the day, we want to have products that is actually good for experience and good for the user, and also a product that our clients also like, and a product that drive business growth. So we are not leaving anything behind. Just make sure you communicate at interval. So did that answer your question?
Yes, yes, you did. Another question is here. How important is documentation to a UI UX designer?
Okay. So for me, I don't like working without documents. I'm sure people that work with me already know that because documentation is very important, not just for you, for even your clients as well. And it's also good for the product. So documentation is like the first thing you need to be able to start working on a project because with documentation, you know exactly what you're working on. You're not working amiss, and even when you get frustrated on the way, you are frustrated with good information. So it's like your frustration comes, but it's not because you don't understand what you are doing. It could be other factors. But first of all, we want to remove the part where you are just working with your mind with okay, the client say he wants a football pitch design. So that is all you have. Now you are designing a football pitch. You don't have documentation to know which people are actually going to use this football pitch. So that by that way you will know whether you are going to design for this group of people, for this group of people. So documentation help you to streamline information together and be able to come up with a better understanding of the product you are trying to build. It's would not solve all your problems, but at least it solves a lot of your problem as a designer when you have a good documentation of the product you're working on.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so we'll still have more people that will watch this on our YouTube. So I want to ask, how would you advise the newbies in terms of this could be getting overwhelming to them? A way and like some like a roadmap on the basic things to learn, where they can start from, tools that they can use to start building up project, more like a roadmap to building something. And you've spoken about UI UX stuff, but one like a breakdown process for someone that wants to join as a total beginner without any prior knowledge, so it doesn't get really overwhelming for them.
Oh, okay. So as a newbie, it's important to know exactly what you want. When you know exactly what you want, then you know how you want to go through the process. Like I said, there are different pathways to design. So it depends. If you want to be self-taught, so you can go ahead and try online platforms like YouTube. There are like 1,001 courses there that you could take and have understanding. You can also try educational platforms like there's Coursera, there's Udemy, there is a lot more of them that you could check and run through their programs. If you want to use a boot camp, you could register in the companies that offer boot camps and go ahead from there. So depending on the kind of platform you want to use to become a designer, when you use that and you follow it like step by step. So I'm going to give an example for a self-taught person. So if I want to become a designer and I want to be self-taught, I could go to YouTube. There are courses there that is beginner friendly. Beginner friendly in a way that they are not going to exactly start teaching you how to use Figma. So I always tell people that Figma is like 20% of what you need as a designer, because there is a lot more of thinking that comes with design than what you put together. If you don't understand, you cannot do anything on Figma. So some of the courses are really beginner friendly in the sense that they teach you details of user experience and how to come up with good products. Then you go ahead to learn the user interface. That is how to use the products available to you to create user interfaces. When you're able to know your experiences and you know your interfaces very well, those combo, you can come up with a good design. From that process now, you can now start designing something and sharing it on social media. Try following people that are also in the field, and then try to collaborate with other people. They don't have to have all the knowledge in design. You can collaborate with a fellow newbie, because everybody have different thinking processes. There's definitely things you are going to learn. Then from there you can create portfolios. That is, put your designs together, create more design, try your hands on a lot of things. Try to replicate designs first before you start creating your own. Make sure that you can replicate somebody's design exactly, at least then you know that okay, you know how to put this and this together. Then try to think of your own and create it, put it in a portfolio, and then go ahead to look for internship roles from companies, or try to work with a mentor and see how they are able to guide you. From there, you are literally set for the design world. But then design does not end, the learning does not end. So you keep learning and you keep growing. But that is how you can actually start as a self-taught designer by yourself.
Thank you so much. So from what I learned now, it's not just about designing. You still need soft skills like critical thinking and problem solving. That's
Yeah,
basically more than the Figma itself.
yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So in your journey personally for you, what are like some challenges you faced in your project and how did you actually overcome them?
Okay. So before now, I am not so much of a talker. So for my first job, I really struggled a lot because I didn't know how to communicate my feelings, or not, it's not personal feelings though, like I just couldn't communicate. I was just going to do anything I was told to do. And sometimes we need to understand that you have better experiences than the person that is telling you to build a product. They just know what they want you to do, but they don't really, sometimes they don't know exactly how to go about it. So if you don't ask questions, you are going to like struggle a lot, which was my problem. I was not able to like ask a lot of questions. I was too timid to ask questions. I was just going to do anything, like I was on the yes sir kind of vibe. And it really was a bad experience for me. But I guess you learn as you grow. So for now, it's a lot better. I don't struggle with that anymore. But that was my challenging moment. I had to learn how to actually talk. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was really a nice session. I mean, I'm not a UI UX designer, but I feel like I really learned a lot. I actually learned a lot. So I really don't need like basically what I need is how to design well. Like I need to have good eyes for colors, basically, and functionality and soft skills like communication, critical thinking, and problem solving, right?
Can you hear me?
I'm here. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's what you need. You need a lot of soft skills. You need to communicate well. You need to have problem solving abilities. You need to be able to think of a problem, like just think outside the box. You need to be able to have empathy, because you need to understand the problem before you able to break down problems into different ways, so that you'll be able to come up with different ideologies and different processes that you want to solve it. Then you now need to understand how to use the design product you want to use, like the design platform you want to use. You need to understand how to use it and how to use it well. And then you need to come up with good designs. Then of course you need to know your colors. And colors actually have what you communicate. So you need to know when to use certain colors and when not to use those colors, and also how to combine colors, how to combine topographies, how to put the layouts together for users to be able to have a good experience. Basically, you want to think about things that would help your users to navigate your product very well. So, and you also want to ask your users questions. Do you like this? Do you feel good? Do you think you can be able to navigate this product? And then you have to be able to know how to take criticism back, because as a designer, people are going to have opinions about what you come up with. So you need to understand that it is not about you, it is about the product, and you use whatever they say on the product. So that's basically a lot of things that you need. So it's not a one-way thing. Also, as you grow, you learn. You don't have to know it all to start. You can start from wherever you are, and then you would be better as the time goes. So that's all about it.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much. I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say we've actually learned a lot. And I'll actually revisit this to watch again. So it's really nice.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right.